Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Don't miss out on our comic book creator interviews, including our monthly Chichester chats with comic book legend DG Chichester, superhero movie brackets in our search for the worst comic book movie of all time, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Luca Perich, host of a Totally Turtle sports and gaming YouTube channel, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network.
I love Ben Riley.
Yeah, she does. Hello, kids. Welcome back to the penultimate episode of Ultimate Spider Cast for this year. That's right. We always end it with whippies, but now it's a Scarlet Spider Sausage Fest. Hello, I am Phil, and of course that means I'm joined by Mr. Signally of Doom himself. It is Dave.
Hello, all the Capes and Lunatics fans out there. Dave coming in from Signal of Doom from the swamp. It's about 5:30 a.m. here. I've been going 17 hours. Keep it coming. It's like the last hours of the telethon. Come on, let's help those kids. Support Phil.
Hey, lady. All right. And yes, the man who just kissed his own breast. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Your high priest of Conchu Ray.
That's a sausage sizzle right there, guys. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to 3 sausages.
How much wine have you had tonight? Jeez.
I feel like you're going to take that tank top off sometime during the show, Ray, and just it's barely on at the moment, man.
Show my tiger's tattoo. Yeah.
Yes, Russell, I did sleep a few hours. Yes, because
Phil, did you sleep at all?
Yes, Justin and I did record the first 2 episodes of Marvel Tales last night. So yes,
I was watching a bit of that already. I mean, geez. I mean, I think Dave Phil's a clone. I'm serious. I think he's a clone.
I'm impressed. I think Phil is determined to cover every comic book produced by the US from the years of 1960 to 2022. The amount of coverage you give, Phil, to some stuff that maybe best left forgotten, but I'm glad you're out there remembering it. You know,
thank you. Yeah, and yes,
best left forgotten. No, there's a lot of great stuff there. Phil, you are fast becoming the Grunwald or the Mark Waid of podcasting, I must say.
Why, thank you.
It's a lot of meat.
It's what it is.
It is impressive.
Handful.
I mean, I will say this, Phil. I said without ego on the last Signal of Doom that we were the greatest show of all time. But I say this humbly to you. I think you go by the thing. It's not just quality, it's also quantity. And that's what I like about you, Phil. It's both. It's both, man.
He's rolling it. I saw, the Marvel Tales, that's looking good. Can I just go on a bit of a side tangent here, Phil? Because I'm talking about Marvel Tales 1, your episode with Justin. Dave, I'm going to throw it to you. Jenna's Vel, what do you thought? I've had...
Whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean...
Marvel, yes.
Yeah, I've had like zero to no kind of interaction.
I don't even know who you're talking about.
But I was very impressed. I was very impressed that that Justin. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. Justin was kind of well versed in the character. I know that
we've
got the
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel's son.
His son. It's
yeah. Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't care about the father. And now we're going on about the son.
Although I mean, we covered the small little 90 series, which isn't on Marvel Unlimited. But if you go on, there's like 2 series from Peter David of
nice.
Him, and theirs are pretty good. Yeah,
Peter David's in serious trouble.
Look,
Signal of Doom over the years has
fired a few shots
his way. We fired a few shots his way, but I've actually flipped, and I'm saying to people, support the guy, the poor guy. He's worked his whole life in comics. Apparently hasn't got a penny to his name, and he's struggling with serious health conditions over there in the States. And I do feel for him. And all joking aside, I think it's shocking that someone who's done so much work is just there's no health coverage, there's nothing. And I feel very sorry for him. Actually,
that's America.
Yeah, their health system over in America is shonky, isn't it?
And it's not great here, but it's better than.
Well, it's a lot
great
better
here. It's better. It's better here.
Yeah,
here, as well though. It's if you've got the cash.
Yeah,
it
helps. For sure.
But
there's
I'm
at least
surprised that he doesn't have cash. That's what I don't understand. Like, what is it with this guy? He's been working for like 50 years.
Yeah, but comics, I don't think doesn't pay the best.
And that's why all joking aside, I actually think it's terrible, frankly. If I can just divert to that, we've covered that serious topic. So we're talking a lot on Signal of Doom about Seance with Gardner Fox. And it's a bit of a goal of mine to get the Seance going. But I put the idea out there to Rich last episode. I said, does Gardner Fox have descendants? Is there like a literary executor of his estate? Someone I could get on, grandkids, someone I could get on the show. I'm putting it out to you guys with all your connections. I said to Rich, I said, where's he buried? These are the questions I'm asking. Has anyone got any information?
I've got one question. Yeah. I've got one question even more pertinent to that, Dave.
Yeah.
Who is Gardner Fox?
He's the guy who did Justice League.
He did like Silver Age DC stuff.
Oh, Silver Age, Golden Age. Like he was massive at DC, and cashed out. I checked in '85. So, and that's why I'm talking about the Seance.
Yeah.
Because I said Gardner Fox on his lunch break could do better than what the people are doing today. He could whip up. I want to get him on the
tied behind his back.
I want to get him on the Ghost typewriter and punch out another script.
The Ouija board.
Yeah, so I'm talking about a seance that Signal of Doom is possibly going to hold. But I'm also thinking, is there a possibility to get like the kids on, grandchildren,
on the seance?
No. To get a live person. And I said to Richard, if we really can't find out where these people are, we find out the date of his death. We go to the grave, and hopefully someone's there putting flowers on the grave. We go to them and say, "Oh, Gardner Fox, such a legend, such inspiration. Would you like to appear on Signal of Doom?" And that's kind of our into the whole relationship. So I've got a whole sort of thing about it. Yeah. So I just thought I'd share that with the Ultimate Spider
I would go the technological route, Dave, and say that we recreate a spitting image of Gardner Fox. Hologram.
Well, I do a Gardner Fox impersonation. I'm doing a Gardner Fox impersonation on my shows. I'm like, "Hello, young man. Let me tell you about the old days." And then he's like, "Oh yeah."
Maybe you can channel Gardner Fox through. Yeah. Like, forget the seance. You channel him. Yeah.
Wow.
And they get Richard to interview you.
Interview me as Gardner Fox.
As Gardner Fox.
Now we're talking.
What twit has awoken me from my eternal slumber?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it, man. And I mean, I tell you what, this guy's an inspiration, and he's one of my favorites of all time. I love him. I think he's fantastic. So Richard? I just wish we could get someone on who was related to him. I was Googling tonight the executor of the estate. I was getting nowhere. Google wasn't helping me. I'm banging my head against the wall here, Yep. Anyway.
No, that's all right. No. I've thought of like reaching out one day, like maybe to Mark Grunwald's widow or something.
Why not?
Yeah, that would be.
Why not?
Yeah,
Grunwald was one of the big ones. I'm always like, man, I wish I would have ever got a chance to talk to him.
The summit.
He was awesome. Like, dude, if he was alive today, he'd be dominating.
Oh yeah.
Sadly passed
dominating.
away.
Yeah, more so than say Mark Waid. I mean, Mark Waid's still doing good stuff, right? But Grunwald would be just like he'd be smashing it, I reckon.
Well, I think also he'd be lionized, so he'd be fated, kind of thing, for what he had done. Assume all these Marvel movies were as big as they are, and I think he would be very much fated because they're pulling some stuff that he's done and all that.
Oh yeah.
He'd be milking it, basically. He'd be
milking
it
in.
And don't blame him. Yeah, be raking it in.
Rightly so.
Oh, Russell.
In cash.
Dave possessed by Gardner Fox wasn't on my apocalypse card.
Well, too bad, Russell. Now it's going to happen.
Who did you think he was going to be possessed by, Russell?
Yeah, look, I love it. I'd get a pipe going, you know, I'd
Yeah.
chuck the pipe down and
okay,
stuff.
Walleth.
Yeah, man,
Well, no,
it'd be
yeah.
fucking awesome. The more I think about it, the more I'm starting to feel like I am in tune with him. You know, as Ray was saying.
You never know. You never know, Dave. You don't know how the the afterlife works. Who knows? We could be all influenced by people. You with Gardner Fox,
Judge
Phil
Death
with
rocks,
Mark
trust me.
Grunwald. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Myself
it.
with I don't know.
What about hey, you know who I'm trying to reach out to? Don Perlin. Catch Me in the Summer.
Oh yeah, Don
He's a
Perlin.
co-creator of Moon Knight, man.
Almost a centurion.
Yeah.
Is he? Like,
He's a co-creator of Moon Knight. I just
He
sent another
is,
message
he
off to
is.
Don Perlin
Nice.
and just said, Don, let's make it happen, man.
Let's dance.
You know?
Yeah.
Let's dance. Like,
That's
take us on a journey. Take us on a journey.
God, you know, make sure the spool is long because he's
Whoa!
he's lived a long. No, I'm just saying the tape, because
Yeah.
he's got a lot of tales to tell. I'm sure.
Well, I'd
He's got a
say
lot of
take us back to
stories.
World War II. You know,
Yeah, tell how was it?
what was
how
what was it like?
Exactly.
You know, I mean, this guy's got a career, longer than anyone.
The
I can
introduction
think
of
who's
TV.
alive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Tell us about it.
Fantastic.
Russell.
Where were you when Kennedy was shot?
Ah!
Were you drawing?
Unfortunately, Russell.
I mean, where were you when the TV was invented?
Yeah,
exactly.
that's it,
Exactly.
man. The first
He was
broadcast.
huddled around the radio. Like they loved the
Yeah.
radio back then.
Oh,
Everyone
yeah.
huddled around it. Yeah.
Man, Don Perlin, bring it on, Don.
Don Perlin. I always think of Don Johnson when you say Don Perlin. So I always think of
I always talk
the
about Don
Miami.
I always
jacket.
talk about Don Perlin. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen the guy. They wheel him around. He's got like his kids and stuff. They wheel him around. He can totally hold conversations. He's fine.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He's got it all going on up here.
His son, I can't remember his son's name. Don got him in and he inked a lot of Don's work.
Good.
Later on. Yeah.
Kept it in the family.
I'm just going to call
Two
him
wa-
Jack. I think it was Jack.
Two
I'm sure.
wages. 2 wages from the one
Two
piece
wages,
into
yeah.
the family. It's
Mhm.
clever.
But yes, Ray, Mark Wade's still doing a lot of good work. But yes, I
Yes.
know you're not reading it because a lot of it has to deal with
Batman, my favorite
Oh,
character.
really?
yeah,
Oh.
Batman, Superman's World's Finest. He's been working
World's
on Batman
Finest is
vs.
good.
Robin.
Oh,
miniseries.
Batman Superman. That's good. Yeah, that would be good. I love the Josh Williamson one, and I know that Connor mentioned that, Dave, on the latest Last Sons. It's a good run. Yeah.
Oh, Batman Superman.
Batman, my
Yeah.
favorite character.
You loved it, didn't you, Ray? You just couldn't
Oh.
get enough.
As Lilith says, it doesn't matter if it's a Marvel or DC show. Lilith is always like, Ray, the chance is never zero that we're not going to get that drop. It may be low, but the chance is never zero.
Black
I
Canary
actually
all
want
the
to
way.
get. Have you had Mark Wade on any of your 1,000 shows, Phil? Ever?
Yes,
Phil,
yes.
yeah, they have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because I want to get him on to talk about his Flash run because Signal Doom does flashbacks, which is like we've covered from basically the post-crisis Flash, and we're almost all the way through the Mark Wade stuff, and I've been loving it. I'd never read it, and I'd love to get him on and talk about his Flash.
I love
It's
how
gonna
everyone
be-
talks about how many shows I do, and every month we spend like the first 20 minutes of every show talking about these two and all the many projects they're on. So
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
but we're born advertisers, so
That's it, yeah.
oh
Gotta
no,
spruce the wares.
especially this Dave. Oh, you should check out this Signal Doom. It's the greatest show on earth. It's hot, it's fresh.
yep, that's it, man. Yeah, wow.
Now he's talking. Now, I mean, hype man. Now Dave's like, I talk to dead people. You should come listen to my show.
I can't wait to do the seance.
I want to be there.
cool.
Can I? Are you going to film it? I want to see it.
Yeah, I want to see. I
See
want
if
to
we
do
can
it.
capture anything on tape.
Man. Yeah, like the ghost of Gardner.
Yeah, like a wisp
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, definitely,
Good.
definitely.
Good.
Awesome.
Phil's gone. Phil's just gone. What the?
He had 3,000 books in his library, reference books, in 1971.
Wow.
He said at any point in time he could just go to one of those books and have a story idea.
Wow.
This guy was like, he was before the internet. He had the internet.
He
in
was the
book form.
internet. Yeah.
He was.
Wow.
He was a polymath, apparently.
Oh, geez, really?
Everything. He was a lawyer. He knew all this stuff from all these different sections, and yeah, this. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this guy may still be alive. I'm not convinced he's dead.
Yep.
He
Could still be. He
know.
faked his own death.
Exactly,
Somewhere
and
in
just barely
Mallorca.
surviving on life support, but the brain's still there. The brain.
The brain is still crisp You know,
Yes.
there's just waiting for the day that the brain can be put into some sort of jar, and like his
talk
body
and
can be
stuff.
reborn. Yeah.
Have you seen that Doctor Who episode where the skin's all stretched out? That's how I'm imagining his
Oh,
face.
jeez.
Yeah, and he's just there, and he's just still talking, still
Wow.
thinking as well.
God, it's creepy.
It's cool.
Creepy.
It's cool.
Sorry, Phil. Sorry.
What are we doing, Phil?
Let's
What are we
get into
even
these
doing?
books.
I've forgotten
Let's
what
get
we're
into these books. All right. I mean, the other two could probably go in any order, but I believe the Spectacular Spider-Man probably comes first in these.
Okay.
This one had a little bit of a, I guess, a juicy little kind of carrot.
Yes.
Sorry. With the, I mean, it's right on the cover as well with the lizard, a new look lizard. But what I found interesting was that it's not, diving straight into it. It's not Dr. Kurt Connors. And we see later on, of course, that the answer to the cover, which is again a nice little tantalizing bit. Who is this person?
Yeah, who's this guy dressed like a doctor on the cover? Yes.
As again, like, oh, that's a pretty dodgy costume, but we know it's just a COVID mask, really.
Yeah,
it's like,
and some hospital scrubs. Yeah,
hospital scrubs. But it's just Peter. But yeah, the lizard was a nice little. What did you guys think of the beginning? I thought the beginning was.
I thought it was cool.
It was good, but it was all
the silent ones.
Yeah, but it was all too short. I mean, how long was he dead for, really? I mean, they really
about
hyped
2
it
minutes.
Up.
About 2 minutes.
Long live Peter Parker. The heartbeat goes. A lot of silent panels, but then whoosh, he's back.
Yeah, he was back pretty quickly, and I was a bit confused with what was going on. Like, I thought, was it a ghost? Like propelling him around the room. Yeah. He was kind of bouncing off walls. They didn't let you feel too much for too long in that scene.
Yeah, well, I was wondering.
Broke the tension, I
wanted to ask, like, was it effective? What did you find it effective? Like, did it do what it needed to do, or was it still too short?
If I'd read it at the time without the knowledge that I know Peter came back and blah blah blah, I think as a youngster, I would have been like, "Oh my God, Peter's dead." But then 5 pages later, he's clearly not, and he's got his powers back. And it was, funnily enough, for the Clone Saga where they spin off and milk everything, they didn't milk the death very long.
No, not at all. No, it's come back.
Probably because they were scared of sales slipping.
I think so. Yeah, because at this point, I think a lot of people were just like, "Enough of this." Let's get Peter Parker back. And
well, and it was cool that he came back with powers. I thought that was cool, and it wasn't the exact powers. I mean, I can understand.
It's not all there.
Yeah, because from now till the end of the Clone Saga, his powers are going to like come and go. Like they might shut off for a minute, a couple minutes, and come back on.
And we saw that in Spider-Man 2 or 3, the movie, right, with Tobey Maguire. With the powers coming on and off. So that was,
Yeah,
it's kind of
and cool. I did find it really cheesy when they came in. He goes, "Hi, anyone got a dustpan?"
Yeah.
I was just like, "Oh,
typical quipper."
I
would have thought their faces would have been a lot more joyful. I mean, obviously they're shocked, but I would have thought they would have shown some sign of at least joy that he's alive. But yeah. We're nitpicking this, Phil. We're nitpicking it. That's what we're here to do.
There was Kurt Connors like thinking dark thoughts on the train.
Oh yeah, we'll get into that in like the next Spectacular Spider-Man or 2.
It was pretty funny how down on humanity he was, like.
And this Graydon Creed, this politician, is kind of much to do with it as well.
Well, that's really it's stuff going on in the X-Men books at this point.
Yes.
So that really doesn't. It's not going to affect us here. But yeah,
that's just background, isn't it? Really, Phil?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Because even that thing we get at the last page of the Sensational issue. I don't know if it was in the trade, but like Sentinels show up. That's
the Sentinels.
Oh yes,
the Sentinels
for the whole
the whole thing with Onslaught. Yeah. There was definitely something else happening in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
You could tell.
That's the whole event that led up to the Avengers and the Fantastic Four getting thrown in the Heroes Reborn.
Yeah. Really? I've never. Okay, right.
I've got a question like that. Yep.
I've got a question. Looking at this lizard,
Yes.
Is he massive? Like, is a lizard normally this big?
Yeah, I think it's meant to be massive, right? Like, the lizard's
Well,
usually
this one may be a little bigger. Like I said, we'll
bigger.
get into this when we get to the next
It's
arc.
very
of Spectacular
reptilian. He's
Spider-Man.
even got like the frilly neck thing
He's
going at the back.
pretty
pretty
much
cool.
not human. Like Connors was experimenting with the lizard's DNA, and this is
Mm.
pretty much just a full lizard. You know, it doesn't transform back into a human or anything. So,
Right.
Yeah.
But if you see there's a shot there where Ben Riley, let's bust this Bronco. I mean, yeah, he's big, but I mean, it's not overly big. I think it's comparable to the original lizard size.
He looks bigger, I think, because he's in the foreground where the cops are shooting at him.
Oh yeah.
But when Ben Riley's on him, he looks more like the normal size, I think, for the lizard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
which
it's just a human, a man-shaped lizard. Again, there's nothing human about it. So
I was surprised when I realized Kurt Connors wasn't the lizard. That actually got me. I was like, oh, cool. Like, I see he's not, he's been split up or something from the lizard. And
right,
I thought that was cool because that took me by surprise because I quite like Kurt
Yeah.
Connors and the lizard and all that stuff.
Me too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that scene, that surreal scene where Peter and Kurt Connors are watching it from across in the other building as Spider-Man and the lizard battle it out.
And they look at each other like, huh?
Yeah. That's good. I think the design of the lizard's pretty cool. We see, Spider-Man. Oh, sorry, Peter Parker. He hasn't got the sticky hands. He slides down the wall. Ben has to save him.
Well, his powers were kind of back, but then Ben throws him, and Peter's powers kind of cut out because at first he was like, "Where's your spider sense?" Which I guess isn't working.
Yes, the spider sense. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, then he can't stick to the wall.
Yeah, and he hasn't got any web shooters, of course.
Mm.
But yeah, no, I thought this issue was pretty good. I like the cliffhanger at the end. It's always good. Like the moment I saw the lizard, like I know it was on the front cover. The moment I saw him, in my mind, I was immediately going, "Oh, look, I want to check out other issues with the lizard, like Kurt Connors' lizard, because he's such a cool character." I mean, I remember mostly him from McFarlane's early issues in the adjectiveless Spider-Man, and that was cool. Yeah, so dark. Very cool. Yeah.
With Calypso, yes.
Calypso, yeah. But I think an underrated villain. Actually, having said that as well, having said that, actually, and we're talking about it, I think, off air before Scorpion in the next issue. I kind of like as well, but he's an absolute nutter.
Well, the lizard's more of a conflicted character because
you got more empathy or sympathy.
Well, yeah, because Kurt Connors, like, they always flicker between how culpable he is for it, and he's always trying to get his family back, but then he's lost so much, and he's far more sympathetic. I almost hesitate to use the word villain. The lizard is the villain, and the lizard is crazy as fuck. But Connors is there more? I mean, he's come in to help out Peter.
He's got
one-armed operation. Remember from last episode, like he's operating on one arm, literally.
One arm bandit. Exactly.
One arm bandit, and he's got obviously. I think the nurses, I hope, are getting paid. For their time, because if I was being operated on by, I wouldn't want a one-armed guy operating on me. I'd be like, no, I want two arms.
That's right.
An advisor, okay, but the guy operating just with the one arm.
Oh yeah, no.
He can't steady. But anyway, and whereas in the next episode, Scorpion is like the most evil I've ever seen Scorpion.
Yeah,
he's normally more of a prick, but now he's this.
Now he's like really. I mean, this hatred for J. Jonah Jameson is really kind of amped up, isn't it? And
let's get to Spider-Man Unlimited 13. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing with Scorpion is like Jameson originally like hired him to become the Scorpion to try to kill Spider-Man.
Yes. As we're reminded every single time he shows up.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
what surprised
I've not even read that issue, but I feel like I have because I've had it explained so many times in so many comics.
Yeah. What surprised me, I don't know your thoughts as well, Luke Cage and Iron Fist appearing. This kind of was unexpected.
It's cool. I've got to say, terrible cover. Absolutely terrible cover. Like, it's like the zombie Iron Fist, if you look at it. Like,
It's a different sort of like
what
a
is
darker
going on
kinda...
with the cover? Like,
I don't know.
Like, what is wrong with is Iron Fist a heroin addict?
Well, look at Scorpion. He's friggin'...
But at least Scorpion's a monster, you
Yeah.
know? Like, he's a crazed individual. Iron Fist literally looks like a guy who's been on a drug binge for about 4 weeks, just going crazy. It's not a great cover. But
Well,
I do like Iron Fist and Luke Cage together. So for me, it was a treat, to see them appear.
Well, there's a lot of weird things happening here, Phil, and maybe you can kind of connect the dots. I mean, there's a lot going on, I guess, the dynamic with Misty and Colleen and Luke and Danny at this stage, because there seems to be a lot of turbulence.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well,
everyone's massively separate.
Yeah, there was so much going on because this was after Luke Cage's 90s series.
A great series. I used to collect that as well, yeah.
So I think they were kind of trying to bring him closer to back to status quo. And
Mhm.
I mean, there was a weird thing with, I don't know the whole story. I mean, Connor probably going to be after this, but yeah, where Danny Rand at the end of Heroes for Hire, I guess everyone thought Danny Rand was dead, and everyone was blaming Luke Cage for his death or something.
And then there was some weird demon or
there was like a demon in the room, and it was just like, okay, like, how you going?
Just like,
I think that's the Contemplator, which is like a cosmic type being, because he showed up like 2 seconds in Quasar.
It was
series,
kind of,
yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Okay,
was he only visible to Iron Fist? Could Luke Cage see that guy that was just there?
Yeah, good question.
I don't know, because I could go either way. It could be Luke Cage couldn't see him, or it's like, oh, what are you doing? And it's like, no, not now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Well, it was interesting. I thought it was an overly long issue. It was the pacing. At times, it would just slow to a crawl, and then it would start again. I was like, oh my god, will this issue ever end? Yeah. But I did like seeing, especially Luke Cage. I've always liked Luke Cage.
Yep.
And he's got like the headband back on again. It was actually a pretty on point Luke Cage in this, issue. Like it was fun. It was probably about, it felt like 5 to 10 pages too long, but it was fun.
I think also, Dave, as well, adding to that kind of sense of length, James Felder, the writer, I did feel that maybe he could have edited himself or had been edited with a lot of his dialogue. It did seem a bit over the top. I mean, I've got nothing against, reading heavy dialogue in a comic book, but if it just seemed a little bit too verbose for me.
I'm on the app. If you look at like page 4, where like the Scorpion's like threatening Jameson, and when he like stings him and stuff. I mean that page 4. There's 10 panels on that page.
Yeah, it's chock a block, isn't it?
And again, I mean, this is a more Spider-Man Unlimited. I mean, these were extra sized issues anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm with Dave. I did feel it like, something's going on when, I don't know, you guys, when you're reading a comic book and you kind of like stop where you are and you just check how many more pages to go.
Yeah.
You get that sense. So that tells you kind of this thing is kind of dragging a bit. Yeah.
I've got a question. When Luke Cage has the homecoming and he goes in and there's all the people.
Oh, let me guess. Okay.
Yeah, well, I just got a question. It's just a question.
Okay.
Who is the rather nice brunette busting out of this thing I'm looking at? Who is it again?
Colleen Wing.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, that's the one that he hugs first. Yeah.
Isn't she?
Yeah, I would too.
Isn't she supposed to be Asian?
Yeah. But she's. I mean, Asians aren't drawn particularly well over the decades, Phil.
I think she's drawn well here. She's drawn very well here.
Well, that's the other thing too. I like a lot of the women in this issue, like Jameson's wife, Marla Madison. I mean, she's never looked like that in any other story.
Yeah,
I mean, she's a scientist. She usually has like the glasses,
and she's also old, isn't she? Like,
she's not as old as Jameson, but I mean, she looks a little more mature. But I mean, she definitely doesn't look like she does in this issue.
I've seen Marla especially in other comics,
especially with like the cut off, the jeans with the holes in it. I'm like,
definitely looks mid-20s or something.
Oh yeah. And doesn't she look like the same as Colleen Wing in this issue?
She does. Yeah, she does.
No, I will say, far be it from me to be like Little Miss, women's rights, but the when
Well,
is it
what miss are you, Dave?
is it Misty Little Miss Perfect? Is it Misty Knight who comes in and says heads up and start clapping? Yeah, it's Misty Knight. I mean,
What is
I've
it?
seen Misty. Firstly, isn't Misty Knight? Am I right in saying she's normally black with an afro? Is that Misty Knight?
Oh, Misty Knight. Yeah, sorry.
I mean, this looks nothing like Misty Knight.
Yes, Misty Knight
I've
looked
never seen
different.
Misty Knight look
Yep.
like this, and I
Yep.
will say I noticed there was one page where they say some artists draw women and literally from porn. Have
Yeah.
you heard this?
Yes. Yeah.
There was one image I saw of her, and I was like, seriously, like I could see why people say that.
Mhm.
It's just, and I look, I don't really care, but I have read my fair share of Miss Unite. Yeah, that's her. Yeah. And this looks nothing
Yep.
like Miss Unite. I mean,
Yeah.
if this
She's very
didn't
different.
say
Yeah.
this is Miss Unite, I wouldn't even. It's like the guy drawing it didn't actually have the models of the characters for those people. Like they
It
don't
might
look
be.
anything
She might have
like.
gone through, I mean, all characters always go through a bit of a revamp. Maybe she had a bit of a redesign here. I don't know.
Yeah, but they've gone pretty far off model, dude.
Yeah.
She's gone from a fucking massive afro to like
Just
a
a
completely
normal-
different
the
haircut.
hair.
Like makes
Yeah.
no sense.
Well,
don't
I
know.
mean, maybe they thought the afro was old fashioned, and like
Yeah.
she was making like an appearance here and there every so often in like Daredevil at this point. So it's like
Mhm.
Okay.
maybe that's
All right.
Joe Bennett trying to like copy the style of whoever's drawn her over in Daredevil.
Jazz her up kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, okay, I dig it, man. I just thought I'd make that comment because I guess what I've read, she's never looked anything like this, and so I
Yeah.
was confused.
It's so everything goes back and forth. I mean, if you look at Cage, he's kind of really going back to his classic look.
I
If you
like
look
that
at-
though. He's got the chains.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, the chains and the wrist things. But you look at Danny though, he's very different. He's got like long shaka hair.
Yeah.
So
He looked good though. Now I
Yeah.
found the page.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's where Misty Knight is comforting Jonah Jameson.
Okay.
Look at how they've drawn her.
Oh yes,
like-
I noted that when I was reading it as well. Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
all I'm saying is, I'm not trying to make out like I'm, Little Miss Humanitarian, but I'm just saying that's an example where someone would point to
Yep.
a comic book and say it's the sort of they're drawing it off porn basically, and
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, they're really exploiting,
Yeah,
how
look,
she's-
I'm just saying that when they do that kind of stuff in the '90s, that's just grist for the mill for when the whiners and complainers come out. They'd have a field day with this kind of stuff.
I mean, it's not completely there, but that's getting that panel Dave's talking about. That's getting close to that infamous Jessica Drew
Yep.
picture of Ray.
But I mean,
It's not a
around
million
this,
miles away.
around this time though, there's so many like gratuitous like butt shots. Anyway, you know what I mean. Like this was
Yeah.
par for the course for this time.
It
I'm
was.
not
It
saying
was.
that that's any better or not, but it's just I mean, this was amongst a sea of butts.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, that's like
that's
that Captain
true.
Marvel series from the '90s. Justin and I were covering last night. I mean, you want some shapely women. I mean, it's the pure '90s. Their waist is like that big.
The Miss Marvel stuff, is it? Or
No, Captain Marvel. Yeah, no.
Captain Marvel? Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah,
But there are some shapely women in there. Yes.
Yeah,
right.
it is what it is. I just thought I was just being the critic that I am. How funny are these code blue guys?
You know that giant women's rights pioneer Dave Finn. Yes.
Yeah, that's it. I'm just trying to win a few votes here, but I Code Blue just turn up just pointlessly
I know,
all throughout.
again,
this thing. Like,
pointless.
I think it's just
they're
supposed to
almost
be
like
a,
slapstick.
yeah, it's supposed to be like a big joke. It's like, oh, you're finally here now. The
Yeah.
battle's over. Yeah.
I like how deadly Danny is, at least with his iron fist. He seems to be like talking about he is the weapon. You've got all these little toys, Scorpion, but I am the living weapon, and he charges himself up. That was really cool. I love the Scorpion's 3 stings. Like he mentions it many times. Like the first one is, you'll be in agony. Second one, you got 24 hours to live. Third one, you're dead. So I like the use of the Scorpion's arsenal. So
Definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like some of the characters, I'm not sure about like Joe Bennett's art, but I do like his Spider-Man. I thought
Spider-Man was good. Yeah.
I agree. I totally agree. I don't mean to make out this art's. Some of the artwork, I really dig it for its pure '90s vibe. Like this picture I've got here of Luke Cage shaking hands with Iron Fist looks pretty damn cool.
Yeah. Oh no, there's some very good panels. Even J. Jonah Jameson looks pretty cool, I think, as well.
Yep.
I do like that. I do like that part after they save Jameson and Ben just picks him up and like throws him the cage, like here, get the reward.
Yeah, because he's still. You would be annoyed too. Like he just got saved and he's still kind of bagging Spider-Man out. It's crazy.
Typical JJ.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
He just can't help himself. He just hates Spider-Man with a passion.
Yeah. Oh, and I like this also as well. Scorpion playing dead. He's saying, Scorpions do that.
Yeah.
And I loved how he did it. And did he have like a bomb or something? He kind of something ticked in his head. But that was good.
I agree. I thought it was cool that he sort of like he was kind of bestial, wasn't he? Really, he wasn't all there. He was kind of like the person. Is it Matt Garron or whatever his name is?
Mark Gargan.
Mark Gargan. He kind of lost that persona, and he was just all Scorpion all the time.
We're just refusing to be referred to as Mark.
He was like a lot more of a threat than he normally is. I mean, he's often a threat, but he was a maximum. Sort of like he was fighting like 3 of them or 4 of them. Like Scorpion's not normally that potent.
Well, I think he's a little off his rocker here too, because it's like right before the Clone Saga started. Like Peter was Spider-Man. Peter beat the crap, literally almost beat him to death. So
he mentions here later on as well, like to Luke, he goes, "I'm stronger, I'm faster, I'm meaner than you." And it's funny because Luke said that at the beginning. He goes, should have no problem. I'm stronger, faster. I've got more of an attitude than the Hulk, But Scorpion takes him to town. So
he does. He does. Round 1 goes to Scorpion. That's for sure in that fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he stings Peter. Like he's pretty potent in this issue. Actually, J. Jonah. Not that J. Jonah's like that tough to beat up.
Oh no, true. But Pete. Ben does an amazing job to still kind of stay lucid. After being
he does
stung,
the old think of Uncle Ben, think of Aunt May. He plays those hits again.
Amazing.
You even see the burglar in the flashback again. I can't let it happen again.
Is that take a drink, Lilith? There, Phil.
Pretty much, yeah. Guilt, yes.
It's good to see when they dial out the classics like that.
Yeah.
But overly long issue, but I did enjoy it. Like honestly, I think it could have been edited down and trimmed down a bit, but it was still fun, and it was always fun to have a team up.
Yeah, I think I prefer the first issue that we covered, but I mean, I enjoyed this one. It's not one of the best. It's not like, say, from the last episode that we covered, where those 2 issues were really strong. I thought this is kind of back in middle of the road territory.
Sure,
but it's fun anyway.
It's probably the weakest of the 3 we're covering this
I think
episode.
So.
And 2, it's like whatever score you give this issue, it would probably come down if it wasn't Joe Bennett art on it.
Yep,
100%,
100%. It really does elevate
his artwork helps and sells it. Yeah. Phil, were you collecting this at the time?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. And how were you at the time on this kind of stuff? Were you just getting like a billion comics and it was just one of many?
I mean, again, it's Spider-Man had 4 monthly titles, and then this was like quarterly or something. It was kind of like background noise. It's like, oh, another Spider-Man.
Exactly, monthly. It's
No, that's cool. I liked the next issue with the Looter. I'm actually not that familiar with the Looter.
Oh, the Looter.
But he was funny. It was a light-hearted issue.
I found it amusing. Yeah, very much. You can't really take him too seriously, although I'm assuming he wants to be taken seriously.
And then just the end with the Sentinels, and I was just like, Jesus.
I mean, for one, he's got a goatee and he's got one earring. So immediately for me, it's kind of like
he's
this
a clown.
dude.
He's a clown.
He's a clown.
1990s.
Yeah, he probably enjoyed listening to his Linkin Park.
He's live,
Yeah, he's live. Yeah, throwing copper.
Copper. Yeah,
yeah. No, look, to be honest, for a light-hearted Spider-Man issue, I actually thought this was actually quite well told, and it was sort of fun. I enjoyed it. It wasn't a tough read.
It wasn't a tough read at all.
And then that final panel, man, where Spider-Man's like, huh? And I'm like, huh? It was Sentinels just flying across. Clearly, they should say, tying into some massive event that's happening, like with the X-Men, I assume.
Yeah.
But that was it. That was fun. I thought it was a fun issue. It's a throwaway issue, but it was well done. And at the end of the day, sometimes that's all you want from a Spider-Man comic. It wasn't heavy.
Yeah, I can't remember the one that we covered, but it kind of gave me vibes of that. It's like, there's nothing wrong with the old one and dones from Spidey comics, and this is very much self-contained, and it's light-hearted as well. I found the same with Dave. A little bit disappointing, the reveal of the Shocker and Pastepot Pete and Stiltman. It's this guy. It's like, oh really, just this guy?
Just this one guy with all the tools.
Yeah, but it was a fun little showdown. I like that little, for us Spidey fans, we'd know. Like Spidey asks him, like, "How long ago did you web me up?" He goes, "Oh, about an hour ago." He goes, "Oh, thank you."
Yeah,
I'll keep that in the bank. Yeah. So that was cool. And again, just the guy's, I guess, craziness. I mean, I was half expecting towards the end where Ben's going, wait a minute, this isn't even a rock. I was expecting it to be like a huge Roos or something from S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't know what to expect. But yeah, it was it was good. And the final panels, I got again just vibes of the I know it's not the Tri-Sentinel, but just the good Spider-Man and Sentinels. I'm thinking, ooh. But yeah, definitely Onslaught. You can see it in the font in Next. Amazing Spider-Man 415 Onslaught. So we get into that. Yeah.
And Spider-Man didn't go to the Heroes Reborn dimension, did he? Or Heroes whatever. No. So he was spared that sort of fate, luckily. Because luckily, probably too, because the Clone Saga, I remember, had a reputation of the milking it dry. Yep. It probably is lucky that they didn't go down that route and have Spider-Man be embroiled in that for 6 months to a year,
Yeah, because that would have been right from the Clone Saga to that. So yeah.
So that was they dodged a bullet there. I think the Spidey office.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, and we definitely didn't need Rob Liefeld drawing his feet.
No, we didn't. And I imagine that they asked for Spider-Man. Why wouldn't they?
It's a big ticket. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Although I don't know if the whole deal was like, it's like, back in then, like the Fantastic Four, the Avengers weren't like big sellers. So I think that might have been the whole thing. It's like, oh yeah, give us the these guys who aren't selling so well, and we'll boost the numbers. Yeah,
that makes sense actually, because the Avengers in the 90s, from my memory, were not a hot book.
No, not at all. No, it was all about the X-Men back then.
Yeah,
X-Men and Spider-Man were keeping that.
And Spider-Man. Yeah.
Okay,
but no, definitely
makes
X-Men, as in team books.
Yes. But I mean, if I was scoring these, I don't think any of them would get more than a 7. But I would say 7, 6 to 6.5 for the Scorpion issue, and a 7 for the final issue. The final issue, I actually think, is quite a delightful light read. If I had like a young nephew or niece or something who likes Spider-Man, I'd gladly let them read that issue. It's just a fun throwaway issue,
Yeah, and the art was decent as well.
I thought so.
Yeah, I mean, like the looter looked very distinct. So that was
very competent. It was competent, and it wasn't trying to be. Whereas the Scorpion issue desperately needed some editing.
Desperately. It was
I felt
way...
this issue was kind of quite sort of self-contained, and it knew what it was doing, A to B to C, the end.
It just rolled. It just rolled along. It read really easily compared
Yes.
to the previous one.
Well, this one and the Spectacular issue were both written by Todd DeZago. So
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
you can tell. Yeah, because you can tell that first issue that we did as well. That, I mean, for me, I was actually surprised, like how quickly I came to the last page as well. I mean, that's a good sign. Not too quick, but it was just like, okay, this is going. Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? Sometimes when you read comics, they can be. Some writers are so dense, especially back in the day. Like, and even if it's a good comic, it's almost a chore to get through. But I found with this Spider-Man stuff, it was actually a pleasure. Even though they weren't the world's greatest issues, it was a pleasure to read them, And the art is, I've got to say, like, the art in this era for Spider-Man is pretty good,
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, one of the things that I do like about Spider-Man comics, you don't get too much of it here, is that you do get like and same with you. I like Dave, but I'm agreeing with that, the readability of Spider-Man, and the stuff that Spider-Man that I love is, the various threads. So you get the Spider-Man supporting cast, you get little stories there as well. You always get them, even if you look at the current series now. Like, there's always something bubbling away. In these issues, I mean, I couldn't really get a sense of that. It was pretty much focused on what it needed to do, which was good. But yeah, I think Spider-Man comics in general, I mean, that's why it's so popular. I think they just lend themselves to being very readable, just enjoyable, satisfying.
100%. Great character as well. Like, let's not forget.
Oh yeah.
Great supporting cast, and all the building blocks are in place. The formula's in place, and they punched it out. And it was also fun seeing Iron Fist and Luke Cage in the '90s.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. That's one thing as well with Spider-Man. You got to have your guest stars as well.
I love the way the Iron Fist talking to that guy is just so totally unexplained. It's just like, what is going on?
Did you see there was a preview in the back? They were like spinning out an Iron Fist miniseries too.
Yeah,
so that was on purpose. That's like,
it's like an advertisement.
Yeah.
But the guy looks so odd as well, like the so-called demon or whatever it was.
Well, he's like a cosmic. He's like a cosmic being. Yeah, he's like one of those elders of the universe. So,
okay,
yeah.
Well, it was fun. I enjoyed it. Like, overall, it was a super enjoyable read. I was saying, Ray, before the show, I was saying to Phil, I had completely forgotten we were doing this, and it was only your text that alerted me to it. And I was so relieved it was only 3 issues. And then I read it with heaps of time left. I was like, sweet. Perfect. So thank you for that text, Ray, because that was a lifesaver.
No worries. I mean, these are very easily digestible, albeit the second one, issues. For anyone out there keen to read them, go check them out. As I said, all available on digital. I'm reading them from the trade. So this is volume 5 of the complete Ben Reilly epic.
You purchased them all, didn't you, Ray? Like the physical copies?
I did.
Wowee.
I thought you've got them all as well, don't you?
I have them just digitally.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, digitally. I got the whole thing, all the Clone Saga and all the Ben Reilly stuff digitally.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun to read. I love
it. Yeah.
So what's happening, Phil, with your worst movies? Have you got 2 movies for us to choose from? Like, what's going on?
No. We picked a winner. Yeah, no.
Oh, what was the winner?
All right. Well, Ray as a patron knows this, but yes, the Fantastic Four from 2015.
Oh, the one with Miles Teller?
Yes. Yeah.
That's an awful movie, so I agree.
Absolutely
That's a terrible fucking movie.
Yep.
Awfully edited as well. Like, it's just... Would you agree? Would you guys agree? The first, say, 10 to 15 minutes, I was like, this is okay. Like, it's going
decent.
somewhere.
It was decent.
And then it goes off the rails so badly.
Yeah,
like,
I'll go as far as to say until they get to the point where they get drunk and they decide to.
The whole thing with them getting powers. Sue wasn't even with them. She still gets the powers, and
it's a very odd movie.
I like
Bad
there's some elements to it that was interesting. Like they talk about the Cronenberg, the body horror. I loved it when Mr. Fantastic was on the examination table and he was stretched out, and that was a bit freaky. But mostly everything was terrible.
It was garbage. It definitely deserved to win that competition. So I'm glad it did.
Well, thank you. All right. So, yes, Dave will be relieved to know at least the next 2 months. Yeah, we're only going to be doing 2 issues an episode. So in January, yes, we're going to do that Amazing Spider-Man 415 and Spider-Man 72, which is like basically Ben and Peter versus the Sentinels.
Yes.
Yes.
Bring it on. Does Wolverine turn up?
No.
Oh, what a shame. What a
Are we going to miss out on Swarm, Phil?
Oh, no. February, no. We're going to cover Sensational 9 and 10, which is Ben versus Swarm.
Swarm.
And for those of you who don't know, Swarm is basically a reanimated Nazi skeleton covered in bees. So,
as you do.
That sounds fun.
Mm-hmm.
Swarm. So Spider-Man's got some of the best kick-ass rogues, I reckon.
Yeah,
I just love a lot of from from Swarm to Shocker to Carrion, to Hobgoblin. Shout out to Russell 100%. There. Just so many cool characters.
Oh, he's got so many. I mean, you're scratching the surface there, right? He's got tons.
Tombstone. Come on.
Tombstone.
Oh yeah, the Ray's favorite Tombstone.
Green Goblin, Kingpin.
Yeah. Oh, it's endless. Scorpion. Rhino.
Yeah.
Oh, Rhino's really
I love Rhino. Rhino's one of my favorites.
Is he kind of like a Hulk villain though, right? To begin with,
I
think originally
used a lot.
No,
more.
I think his first appearance may have been Spider-Man.
Was he okay? Because I've read a lot of
he fights Spider-Man a lot more than he fights Hulk.
Yeah, okay. Because I read a lot of early Hulk, and he's already in there, Rhino. So,
it's always like any character if they're really really strong. It's like, oh well, can they beat the Hulk?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would say Hulk could wipe the floor with Rhino.
Oh yeah, no contest.
Hulk on his worst day could take care of Rhino.
Joe Fixit can beat Rhino.
Oh yes, and he has. Yes, there's that.
Love Joe Fixit. I love my Joe Fixit, Ray.
Yep.
Oh, did you see that? Did you see that? Peter David's doing a 5-issue series, and
shout out to Peter David.
January,
January.
Yeah, because
that's awesome.
It's going to be set during when Joe Fixit was in Vegas, and I guess it's going to be Joe Fixit versus the Kingpin.
Yes,
so has he written it because with the health he's in? So
I don't know.
He must have written it beforehand or something.
I mean, at least some of it. I'm sure. Yeah, he probably. Yeah, wrote.
Because I just finished, Dave. I finished the Omnibus Volume 1. I know you finished a while ago. The Hulk Omnibus.
Yeah, it's great.
So it's good to check out that.
I'm deep in too. Can I say this? It's appropriate because we're doing the Clone Saga. They should clone Peter David. Why don't they get some clone scrapings from him?
Exactly.
Just,
inside of his mouth.
They could pay him like $100K for it, which he'd take. The guy's struggling. He'd take the 100, and he'd park the 100, settle some debts, and meanwhile we can work on a clone
and write more stories. Like he can double
where
his
I'm going.
work.
That's where I'm going, man. Like
triple.
The ill Peter David could write, but I'm thinking of the clone. You train the clone up.
He's a clone. He can do it.
I mean, that's Dave's dream job, right? 100,000 for your DNA. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm just thinking, man. Like I'm thinking a lot of thoughts these days.
I think that
Fox.
I was gonna say I think that Gardner Fox is whispering in his ear.
He is, man. Me and Gardner are wearing tune.
In sync.
With the 2,000 books in the library, he was ahead of his time. A polymath.
Polymath. Jeez.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
4-dimensional chess from Gardner Fox.
Oh, Dave's like, he's a genius. We're kindred spirits.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I do see a lot of myself in Gardner Fox. Yeah.
But Dave, can Gardner Fox take on Stewart at Munchkin?
That was the worst ever episode of Signal. They played a game. I don't know if you're familiar with it, Phil, called Munchkin. It's a sort of card game. And for some reason, when I was in Hawaii on a holiday, my co-host took it upon himself to record him playing Munchkin with his mates and released it as a single episode.
Dave gave him the keys to the car.
I gave him the keys for 1 week, and that's what he did. I was in Hawaii losing my shit.
Oh my God, Richard got 50 lashes when Dave got back, man.
No, this was the previous guy before
true.
Richard.
Oh,
Yes,
so
true,
yeah.
Oh.
No, Richard would never do something so ridiculous. Yeah, and he wouldn't get the keys after that one incident. I would never
No,
give
that
the
was
keys
it.
away again. That was
it.
it was the worst. It was them shuffling cards. Oh, what do you got? I got a 6. I got a 7. Like, I was like, seriously, it's not even a video.
It went for
guys.
like 3 hours as well.
It went
Didn't
forever. It went forever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Go check it out.
Go check it
Signal of
out. It's
Doom.
available on the Signal of Doom
Yeah.
Facebook. You can find it. I didn't delete it, even though I hate it. I didn't delete it. It's all
keep
content.
it
It's all
for
content.
the annals. The annals.
That's it. All right, guys, are we ready to wrap this one up?
I was gonna say, you ready for bed, guys?
Yeah.
I'm almost in bed. I'm almost recording from bed. I'm just barely awake.
All right. So yes, thank you once again, gentlemen. Great 2022, because this is the last episode we do for 2022. So
How did the babysitters go this time, Phil? Okay.
Yeah.
oh, I get
Us.
ask Lilith. I mean, she always
Yeah,
says
yeah.
Justin's a good babysitter, and you
Yeah.
guys are the ones who let me stay up. And he
Yeah, we
Yeah.
feature Coke
We
and
give you some
pizza. Can I
candy.
say
Yeah,
a Merry
take 'em.
Christmas to all
Yes.
the
Happy holidays. to
happy
everyone.
holiday. Ray politically correct there, but no, I'm going to say Merry Christmas. Like, fuck this happy holiday shit. And it's a pleasure, as always, to be on the Capes and Lunatics Ultimate Spider-Cast.
It is always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. So thank
It's
you.
an honor.
Thank you, Ray. It is an honor.
it's an honor to have you guys. I mean, especially make time in your busy schedules.
Listen to Signal of Doom.
Yeah.
If I
Anyone
haven't
with a
made it
video.
painfully clear, listen to Signal of Doom, listeners. As soon as you get off this, tune in. We're weekly. Comic book and comic book movies, and a lot of Bob Dylan, a lot of Frank Sinatra.
It's always hot, always fresh. Yes, me.
Always hot.
Proud member of the collective.
Proud member of the collective. That's exactly right.
I just love when Noel does have proud member of the collective.
Yeah.
All right. So all right, kids. Yeah, send your thoughts. We already recorded it, but yeah, the last episode of the year will be the Thwippies, where Lilith and I just talk about our favorite Spider-Man stuff of the year, of this past year.
Cool.
And then the first episode in January, tune in, kids, because we're gonna cover Marvel Team Up 79, where Spider-Man teams up with Red Sonja.
Oh, cool.
As drawn by Mr. John Burns. So
Nice.
Cool. Well, Ray's like, oh, I'm there, buddy.
I'm there too for the Chanma bikini. Yes, please. Yeah. Does he? Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Does he have sexual congress with her? Because she will only have sex with a guy that can beat her in a fight.
Not Spidey.
No, he doesn't. But it could have got close because she does take over the body of Mary Jane. So.
Oh.
Well, yeah. This sounds like a great issue.
Whoa! Hose Gardner Fox down over there, man.
He liked his redheads. What can I say? Well, I'll be tuning in for that episode.
So send your thoughts, everyone. For those, email us CapesandLunatics@gmail.com or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And find links to all the various social medias we do, especially for new shows, Marvel Tales, Salty and Petty, where Lilith and I are just going to talk about whatever the hell we want. Not even going to be comics probably most of the time. The YouTube channel, please. We need subscribers to the YouTube channel. We're at 260 subscribers.
Nice.
Lilith is begging. We need at least 9 more of you to subscribe. Yes.
I'll subscribe if I haven't already. I'm not sure if I have.
Yes. Because we're 260.
That.
Make Lilith's holiday and just get us 9 more. Yes.
And a shout out to Lilith as well.
Yep.
Yes.
Big shout out to Lilith.
Definitely.
The Queen.
Definitely.
Yes.
Armadillos.
She'll be here soon. Yes.
I love that Superman flag. I just can't get enough of that flag that you got.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gold. It's absolute gold. I imagine you wrap yourself up when you go to bed, wrap yourself in the flag,
Yeah. All right.
Why not? Exactly right.
Oh, I go complete opposite, Dave. I either sleep in boxers or nothing at all. So
Wowee, that's what we want to hear. That's what we want. That's what the listeners really for the Patreon feed. You know, they can really get the camera in the room and
talk about letting the flag fly.
For only $5 a month, you can get access to this.
Whoa, that's right.
That's OnlyFans, Dave.
Speaking of the Patreon, yes, $3 to $5 gets you all the early access to creator interviews, including that madman, Mr. DG Chichester.
I got the good mic out for you guys.
Superhero movie brackets. You can listen to the whole thing now. We got some surprises in 2023, and if you're in the Patreon elite like Ray, you can suggest stuff we talk about. So
cool.
And hey, we need some more ladies in there because again, it's Ray, Russell, and Justin. It's quite the sausage fest. So, ladies,
talk about the Bible. I want the Bible from the start to the finish.
Oh gosh.
I'm just waiting for messages from Ray. Yeah, can you talk about more soccer, please?
Ray's like, I've got something we can talk about. Moon Knight. It's like, oh, thanks, Ray.
West Tigers.
West Tigers. Chances in 2023.
We talk some more Jessica Drew.
The Spider-Man.
Yes. Do it.
So yes, all that and merchandise. Find it on Linktree, linktr.ee/CapesandLunatics. All right, let's start with Ray this time. We'll let Dave fire. Talk us out of here. Him and Gardner Fox. All right, Ray. What shows can people find more of your genius on?
Yeah, for sure. Just check me out on at RayPod, REY Pod on Twitter still, I guess, and on Facebook and on Instagram, and you can get links to all the other shows, Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast, To Know As to Fear, Spider-Woman podcast, and Predator and Prey, the Predator podcast, Yucha podcast. Also, if you please consider becoming a member at westtigers.com.au. As a member, you can gain access to our home games as well as a couple of their away games. So go check it out and get a key ring.
Oh, wow. Hey. You can set yourself up for a lifetime of disappointment.
At no extra cost.
Love it.
It's a lot of mate.
All right, David. Where can people find yourself and the Signal of Doom and the Ghost of Gardner Fox?
24/7. You can always find me if you go to the Facebook page, Signal of Doom. You go to Twitter, Signal of Doom, and my personal Twitter at RedLantern2051. Signal of Doom pumps out weekly. We've also got the spin-off shows Dread or Dead about Judge Dredd and Legion Outpost about the Legion of Superheroes that I do with Adam. But just check us out. Signal of Doom. I'm available to do weddings, emceeing, anything's negotiable with me. And obviously, cash talks with me. Cash talks, so that's all I'll say. I'll leave it at that.
But it's extra for the Ghost of Gardner Fox to show up.
The Ghost of Gardner Fox. He charges an extra 10%, considering he has to come from the spirit realm,
Yes, he has to speak through Dave's body. That's extra for Gardner Fox. Yeah.
When I've got my pipe out and
how does he sound?
Hello, dear boy. How are you? Let me tell your story about how I created Jay Garrett. It was a dark and stormy night. and then he's off. You can't stop him once he gets started. He really likes to go right back to the beginnings.
People are like, I didn't know Gardner Fox had an Australian accent. This interview was over. All right. Here. All right. Thank you for joining us on our Ben Rally journey in 2022, 2023.
See you later, 2022.
Oh, it's going to be fresh.
It's going to be hot. It's going to be fresh.
Again, in 1 month. Yes, we're going to.
What are we talking about? Yeah.
Going to see some Spider-Men versus some Sentinels.
Can't wait.
Until then, swing on back. Whip.
Whoop.